Hello, welcome to the Daf Yomi of today. Bekhorot Daf 41 Amud B. Thanks for your time, and let's dive straight in. Rabbi's dilemma. What is the reason of Rabbi Shmuel? What is the reason of Rabbi Shmuel that a hermaphrodite is definitely blemished? It is obvious to him that a hermaphrodite animal is a male that has firstborn status, and then it comes with a blemish, i.e. the female sex organ, and therefore it is permitted. And therefore it is permitted to be slaughtered outside the temple, or perhaps Rabbi Shmuel is uncertain. So Fukim Savkadle, Rashi explains this possibility to mean that he is uncertain, like the first Tana, whether or not a hermaphrodite is a male or female. Also explain that he is uncertain whether it is a male or distinct entity. Rabbeinu Geshem Hagola, whether or not a hermaphrodite is considered a male, and he says his ruling in the manner of, if you say. In other words, if you say that a hermaphrodite animal is a firstborn, it comes with a blemish, and it may be slaughtered outside the temple. The Gemara asks, what is the practical difference between the reasons? The Gemara answers that there's a difference with regard to being flogged on account of this animal due to violating the prohibition of shearing and utilizing a firstborn animal for labor, see Deuteronomy 15:19. If it is definitely a firstborn, then one would be flogged for violating the prohibition. But if one is uncertain whether it is a firstborn, although one may not shear it or perform labor with it, one is not liable to flogging for doing so. Alternatively, there is a difference with regard to giving it to a priest. If its status is uncertain, the priest cannot demand the animal from him, and according to the principle that the burden of proof rests upon the claimant, the Gemara suggests, come and hear a brighter. Rabbi Eli says in the name of Rabbi Shmuel, a hermaphrodite is a firstborn, and it comes with its blemish. Learn from the brighter, and it is obvious to Rabbi Shmuel that a hermaphrodite is a firstborn. The Gemara responds, but perhaps he said his ruling in the manner of, if you say, as explained earlier. The Gemara suggests, come and hear another brighter. It says with regard to a burnt offering from cattle, a male, Leviticus 1:3, from which can be inferred, but not a female. All burnt offerings must be male, as stated in the brighter. Rambam Sefer Voda Hilchah Maaseh Karbonos 1:8. When it says below, with regard to a burnt offering from sheep, a male, Leviticus 1:10, a second time, it is difficult to understand, as there is no need for the verse to state this. Why must the verse state a male again? It serves to exclude a tumtum and a hermaphrodite, which is qualified for being sacrificed as burnt offering. The Gemara analyzes this brighter. Whose opinion is this? If we say it's the opinion of the first ten of the Mishnah, we maintain that a tumtum and a hermaphrodite may not be slaughtered in the temple or in the rest of the country, then the status of a hermaphrodite is uncertain, and it is unknown whether it is a male or female. But does the verse come to exclude a case of uncertainty? Rashi explains, since there is no uncertainty before God with regard to its status, a verse is not warranted to rule on its status simply due to human uncertainty. But perhaps this brisa is in accordance to the opinion of the latter rabbis in the Mishnah, who will hold that a hermaphrodite is definitely not a male, but a distinct entity. Therefore, it is necessary for a verse to exclude it. This too is difficult according to the rabbis, the exclusion of a female, a tumtum, a hermaphrodite, is derived from one verse alone. The Gemara elaborates, as with regard to a firstborn, it is one male alone that is written, from which the rabbis exclude all of the three categories from firstborn status. By contrast, the Brisa excludes a female from one mention of the word male, and a tumtum and a hermaphrodite from another mention of the word male. Well, it is obvious that the Brisa is according to the opinion of Rabbi Shmuel, and in that case, granted, if you say it is obvious to Rabbi Shmuel that a hermaphrodite is a firstborn male, then why a verse was necessary to exclude a hermaphrodite. Some commentators explain that this exclusion is necessary to teach that a hermaphrodite differs from a regular blemished animal. If a regular blemished animal is substituted for a sacrificial animal, it is consecrated, whereas a hermaphrodite does not become a substitute, attributed to Rabbeinu Yitzchak Shiti Mechubeses, from being brought to burnt offering. But if you say that Rabbi Shmuel is uncertain whether or not a hermaphrodite is considered a male, is it necessary for the verse to exclude a case of uncertainty? The Gemara responds, actually, the Brisa is according to the opinion of the latter rabbis, who maintain that a hermaphrodite is not a male, but a distinct entity. And as for the difficulty that In the case of the first one, they excluded a female, tumtum, and a mafredaita in single verse. That is not so. With regard to the first one, there are also two verses written male, Deuteronomy 15:19, and that is a male, Exodus 13:12. As in the case of a burnt offering, one of these serves to exclude a female, while the other serves to exclude a tumtum and a hermaphrodite. The Mishnah teaches, and the rabbis say, a hermaphrodite does not have firstborn status, rather its status is that of a non-sacred animal that may be shorn and utilized for labor. Rav Chisda says this dispute applies to a hermaphrodite, which the rabbis maintain as is a distinct entity, as it has both male and female sex organs, and therefore it does not have firstborn status. With regard to a tumtum, whose genitalia is covered by skin, everyone agrees that it is an uncertain case. An animal that is a tumtum has an uncertain firstborn status, and it may be eaten by its owner when it develops a blemish. This halacha is according to the opinion of Rav Chisda, Rambam Sefer Kabbalah, Hilchot Bekhorot 2:5 Shulchan Yodea in 15:2-3. As it is definitely either a male or female, but there is uncertainty as to which it is, and consequently it is consecrated due to uncertainty, and it may not be slaughtered either in the temple or in the rest of the country. Rava said to Rav Chisda, if that is so, that a tumtum is certainly either a male or female with regard to valuations, valuation is a vow to donate the value of a particular individual to the temple treasury. The sum to be paid is not determined by the individual's social stature or by his value as a slave. Rather, the Torah provides fixed sums based upon age and sex. If one vows to donate the valuation of a particular limb, his vow is of no consequence, as only a whole person has the valuation. By contrast, one can vow to donate the actual monetary value of a limb to the temple treasury. Notwithstanding this distinction, if one vows to donate the valuation of a critical organ or limb, e.g. if he says, I'm obligating the valuation of my head, it is as though he vowed to donate his full valuation, because one cannot live without a head. The halachot of valuations appear in Leviticus 27:1-8 and are clarified in Talmud of Yichin. When someone vows to give an evaluation of a tumtum, it should be evaluated either in accordance to the valuation of a man or woman. Thank you for listening. I wish you a good day. All the best. Bye.